Yo, welcome back to the channel, guys. This video will dive. I originally made a video where I answered all of the questions I saw within like my last 5 videos, but the video ended up being way too long. So now I'm just gonna condense it down. Maybe go, question by question, and whenever I can get more than one question within a video without it being long, I'll package that together. So this question I thought was pretty interesting. Jamari Riddick, what's up? He said, yo, Zando, can you do a video on Pass Pro and the proper way to slide protect and ID the mic? I know Madden doesn't have it coded right, but how would a quarterback or center tell the line what to do in real life when they go against different fronts? And as always, thank you for the great in-depth content, bro. Hey, I appreciate it, man. I really do appreciate the love. I will cut from this and get into a video I'm going to make in regards to IDing the mic and etc. I want you to know straightforward, I'm not extremely knowledgeable in pass protection. It's not like I'm like an offensive line coach, I guess I'm trying to get to, because there's so many different pass protections, different things that they can call, different ways that they can slide and all that. But I'm just going to give you just a basic overview of how pass protection can revolve around IDing the mic, and hopefully I give you some NFL videos of it actually in action and how does that pertain to understanding ID on the mic. But before I even cut away to the video, I just want to say a short answer. If you don't want to listen to all of that, my answer to you is to just never re-ID the mic in the game of Madden. You'll just mess up your pass protection, and you may wonder why, and I'll show you in the following video. Alright guys, so I'm going to try to record this again. One of my issues, you may wonder how come I don't drop frequent content like every other 2 days, or I don't know how much content other YouTube channels drop. I'm trying to keep it consistent, right? But a lot of times it's because I'll record something, it'll literally take me like the whole day of trying to put it together, and then after taking a look at the video, I'm just not satisfied with it, right? Because I'm a perfectionist, so that's kind of, I'm my own worst enemy when it comes to that. But I'm gonna try to record this video again. And in regards to your question, it's a beautiful question, which is why I wanted to make a video about it, because it kind of showcases it's like the root to showcasing the many problems that Madden has, right? So in regards to ID in the mic, I'm just going to give you an example of like a specific pass protection that football teams may roll with. There are many different pass protections, right? Different types. Pass protection is a game within a game, right? I mean that everything like offensive line, defensive line. That's why you have coaches for each specific entity, right? Offensive line coach, defensive line coach, linebackers coach. It's a game within a game within a game within a game. Football is just so strategic from every level imaginable. It's such a complex sport. And we are just getting shitted on by this game. This game is so dog shit. So as far as ID in the mic, the quick answer to your question, about ID in the mic, I know the game is coded wrong. If someone were to ask me when do you change who you ID as the mic in the game of Madden, my answer would be to never do it. Ever. Don't ever do it. The reason, and we'll get into the reasoning why you should never, almost never change the mic in the game. It'll mess up your pass protection. And the reason why is because the game automatically checks into the perfect pass protection for whatever the defense throws at you. And if you're wondering why does it do that, well, let's get into it. So let's just get into a specific pass protection that you may see in a game. So pass protection is all about, it's not about you block him, you block him, you block him. It's not like you block him, you block him, you block him, you block him, you block him. That's just not how it works. The game of football is all about getting a numbers advantage. Let me bring that stroke down on that pen. It's about getting a numerical advantage. You win in the game of football by getting 2-on-1 or 3-on-2 or 4-on-3. That's how you win, right? You really don't want to stick to just one-on-ones. It's not really optimal winning strategy in the game of football. And that goes the same in the passing game. If we think about the zones, right? Curl flat, Let's say this guy's in a deep third and hook to curl, right? Well, we get an advantage here by we can run a route combination to get 3-on-2 right here. Because this guy's bailing and we're running a route combination that really, he's not really making a big impact on that. That's how we win here, right? So like cover 3, like let's do the Hank concept, right? Where you go to the flat, you run a 12-yard curl. Let's say you're going to run over the ball here, and you're going to flare out and you're going to run like into the curl and you're going to run to the flat, right? Well, this is a 5-against-4 deal, right? Well, you may say, where's the 5-on-4? Well, he's kind of like X'd out, really. He's out and he's out. If you think about it like this, the outer shell, we're not challenging the outer portion of the field. They don't know that we're not going to challenge it, right? They don't know that. They're not psychic. And that's the problem with Madden too, right? Which we're going to get into. So we're running 5 routes underneath against 4 defenders. They can never be right? So if you curl over the ball and this guy peels on that, well, now we get a 2-on-1 deal on this side of the field against this defender, right? And on the flip side of that coin, if this linebacker peels on the over the ball route, right? Well, now we got 2-on-1 deal with the curl flat on this side of the field against this guy, right? So even in pass protection, it's the same thing. So let's talk about, I think it's called jet protection in a lot of playbooks, where you get like a zone blocking scheme on one side of the field, and then you get like a man-to-man scheme on the other side of the offensive line, right? And this is where the mic plays a big part into it. Some offenses might do it different, but I'm just giving you an example. So let's say we ID this guy as the mic. 54 is the mic, 54 is the mic, right? Maybe in some offenses, they take that out of the quarterback's hands completely as far as IDing the mic. Maybe I'll cut here and show you Mike Martz. I remember in his system, he didn't want the quarterback having to deal with that at all. He gave him no control over the offense as far as hot routing, audibling, none of that. And he had a reason why he had it that way. You may think, well, aren't you handcuffing the quarterback? No, when you listen to his reasoning, it made a lot of sense based upon his offense. But other offenses, they give him a lot of freedom where they want the quarterback to ID the mic, and etc. Right? So let's say we ID this guy as the mic. He's really, in the pass protection I'm talking about, he's really the most important piece. That's why they ID him as the mic, because as far as what everyone is responsible for, it's predicated on who the mic is. Okay, so we ID him as the mic, which makes the next defender over the will, and the slide protection will slide to the will. So that's why we ID him as the mic. So let's do this. So we have 3 potential rushers here. We're gonna slide to the will. So you really go to like the first uncovered offensive lineman opposite way. So this guy's covered here. You're covered here. Okay, he's uncovered, so you're into the slide. So you're going to block your gap to the left, you're going to block your gap to the left, and you're going to block your gap to the left. And if you think about it this way, this is how we get like a bubble, right? We know who the offensive line is responsible for. So here's our man-to-man block, and then we got our slide protection going this way. And traditionally, if I recall correctly, I think you really want your slide definitely to go to the weak side of the quarterback, because he's not, this is his blind side, and you are far more stronger on the pass protection, the slide protection side, as opposed to the man-to-man block side, right? So you want your strongest side, your most surefire protection side, to go, to the blind side, or where the potential blitz is coming from, right? Where you're the most threatened. So if we draw a bubble over these guys, we know that the offensive line is responsible for these 5, because we ID'd this guy as the mic. The offensive line knows we're sliding to the will. So when you point out, hey, this is the mic, okay, we know we're sliding protection to this guy. So first uncovered lineman, we get 3, we're blocking each gap. So no matter what, if you come this way, you come this way, you come this way, right? Center's going to get this guy, and we could double team this guy at first until he comes, right? So this is where we get a double team. And then when he peels off, well, now this lineman can peel off because this is his gap. And then obviously you get him. Now if you flip it, what if they do like some type of stunt action, right? Go like this, and he peels over like this. Well, again, we're in gap protection here, so this shouldn't be a problem, right? When he peels over, maybe you can get hands on him here until he flashes, and then you peel off and get him because you know he's taking this gap here, right? So we're just covered here. Everything's covered. So let's draw the bubble over that again. Okay. So then let's say you got 6-man protection going, right? So the back is in on the protection. Pass protection is always taught to block inside out. You never want anyone to come through the A or B gaps, right? So if someone's going to come free, let's say we have no way of blocking everyone because we only have 6 players pass protecting and they're bringing 7, so someone's going to come free. You would rather want that free rusher to come from the furthest point on the field possible, right? So if you had a choice between letting this guy come free or letting this guy come free, you would rather this guy be the one coming free because the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, right? So this path is shorter of a path to get to the quarterback as opposed to this path, right? Now, why would we want this guy to come as opposed to this guy to come free if we had to choose one? Well, we get more time, right? And that's what throwing the ball hot would come into play. The ball's out before you can get here. You don't need a blocker for every potential rusher. You just need an answer for every potential rusher. So our answer for these 5 guys is our offensive line with the pass protection, right? You're going this way, you're going this way. This is our gap protection, so these 3 are good to go. So our answer for all 5 of these guys are actual blockers, right? So let's continue. Start at 5. So let's say our back is in protection. He's going to block inside out, right? I think they call this a dual read for the back, right? If he's in pass protection. We have a route for you to take. Maybe you go on the flat, but your first read, you're reading 1 to 2, right? So if we snap the ball and number 1 comes, you are responsible for blocking him, right? If we snap the ball and number 1 doesn't come, you get your eyes on number 2. Is number 2 coming? If he's coming, you got to pick him up, right? If we snap the ball and both of them don't come, then you can go out on your route, right? Now, if we snap the ball, so again, I'll do this bubble here because we know our offensive lineman is responsible. This is the mic. We ID'd him as the mic, so we're sliding to the will. Let's say this guy does come, right? So the dual read is like this. So the back picks him up, right? Well, here's the problem, though. Well, it's not a problem. We have an answer for it. What if he comes too? Well, now this would be what we would title as this is a hot rusher. He's free, right? The quarterback understands this because he understands the protection. You know, he's got to understand the protection as well. He should know he doesn't have to worry about these 5 on rushing because they're taken care of. If Mike comes, he should know I should be good to go. No one's coming free. But he should know if 1 and 2 come, the quarterback should know this guy is going to come free. And the rule is good to go. He's the furthest possible rusher to come. It's not like he's going to come free because we're blocking inside out, right? So our answer here could be a built-in hot in the route concept. So let's say we're running flat. Let's say this guy's running like a clear out route, and this guy's running like a deep out, right? So we may tag this guy as the hot. So within the play call, we're teaching the quarterback, hey, this is our pass protection here. If both of these guys come, you got to get rid of the ball hot on this flat route. This is our built-in hot here, right? Okay. So both of them come. He does it right. He gets the ball out quick. Before this defender can get to the quarterback, the ball is gone, right? That's just an efficient offense, right? So now this is where we kind of dive a little bit deeper, right? Now, I'm not like a guru when it comes to pass protection. I'm just giving you just a little bit of insight on this stuff, right? So what do we do? This is what throwing hot is. Now, what if the defense threatens, I think they call it 4 weak, right? What if they bring the potential blitz like this, where he comes this way, he comes this way, he comes this way, and now he's threatening to come on a blitz, right? That's a potential problem, right? Because, look, we ID'd this guy as the mic. So what? We're going to slide to the will, right? So let's say, so these three, so we're going to go gap, gap, gap. That would make this guy free, right? You're man to man, you're man to man. Running back is reading 1 to 2. 1 to 2. Okay. So what happens if this guy comes? Well, that takes the back out of the pass protection, and then this guy he's coming free, right? Well, the defense can get a 3-on-3 deal here. You know, maybe this safety was over here. It's 3-on-3. You don't get a numbers advantage, so maybe you can't really throw hot in this. It's just an example, right? So that would be a problem, right? Also, it's really hard to ask this back. I think they call it scanning, where now he's reading 1 to 2 to 3, right? That's a lot of pressure on the back, right? You snap the ball. You look at 1. Did 1 come? No, he didn't come. Okay, did 2 come? No, he didn't come. Okay, get your eyes, flip it all the way across over here. This is post-snap, too. Did 3 come? If 3 came, well, you got to pick them up. You would have to have, like, a special back and back protect. Like, you would have to have a lot of trust in that back because he's coming weak side, too, right? And you're looking strong. That could be a potential problem, right? So one thing you can do, this is what ID in the mic comes into play. Well, you know, we come to the line. We ID this guy as the mic first, right? Okay, so everyone's going to slide to the will. Well, one thing we can do is, well, hey, never mind. I changed my mind because this guy pre-snap starts walking up here. Now they're showing 4 weak. 1, 2, 3, 4 potential rushers coming weak. I have a feeling he's going to come. We could change our mind and say, hey, never mind. This guy is not the mic anymore. We could ID this guy as the mic. The mic can be anybody on the field. You're not necessarily naming the mic linebacker. That's probably a misconception in some people's minds. All right, guys, I cut away from that because I wanted to showcase an in-game representation of what I'm talking about, how anyone can be ID'd as the mic. You're not necessarily looking for the mic linebacker, and this is a prime example of that. So let's go ahead and play it, and then I'll go ahead and commentate really quickly.
And that's now what he's doing once again. Hey! 53! No, I'm not. Hey! You're clean! That's great audio by our crew right there. Romo on 3rd down, gonna run it. It just slides underneath. What would have been a vicious hit between the duo of Antrell Roll and Jameel McClain. Well, you saw the game going on, the line of scrimmage with the audio, Tom, you're right. Tony Romo's pointing out Jameel McClain saying he's the mic. Jameel McClain, no, I'm not the mic.
So as you can see, like, you know, it is a cat and mouse game at the line of scrimmage, right? It's kind of ironic because it's like you wonder if McClain knows, like, we know you're not the mic linebacker. ID in the mic has nothing to do with the mic linebacker. It really doesn't. It's just an anchor point for the rest, for our pass protection, right? Because remember, if we ID the mic, now the offensive line knows who we're sliding to. If in a specific pass protection we're sliding to the will, well, we need to know what you're going to label as the mic, so we know who to slide to, etc. It's not like we're looking for a specific mic linebacker position to do that. But it also could mean that he knows that as a defender. He's just trying to be funny. You know, it could be that, right? But as you can see also, let's pay attention really quickly. You see that? He's like, hut. He's trying to fake like, hey, I'm about to snap it. So everyone can declare what you're going to do, where you're going to be, right? Maybe, you know, with him, hut, and these guys show like, oh, we were going to back out. Like they try to get to their position prematurely, right? Or he's doing hut to see who wants to come, all right? He's trying to get a feel for who's coming and who's not so he can ID who he wants to ID as the mic so the pass protection can be set to what he wants. So it's really interesting stuff. I'll get back to the video. The mic, you can name somebody in the stands the mic if you want. We can name this guy the mic. We can name this guy the mic, right? The point of naming the mic, from my understanding, is just to get a base on, like, he's relative to the pass protection because that IDs everyone as an anchor point where our pass protection is revolved around, right? So because we change our mind, you know what? I'll put a video in here of Peyton Manning changing the mic. It was against, I believe, the Raiders. It was like 3rd and 4. He was at the line of scrimmage, and he knew a blitz was coming weak side. And he ID'd the mic at first, and then he changed his mind based upon the movement. So I'll put that in here.
Lamar Houston, the only holdover on that defense. You know, Jason Tarver and the Raiders staff were telling us all the important things. You got to win the turnover battle to try to beat Peyton Manning. You've got to keep the ball out of his hands, time of possession. But red zone
Oh, watch his eyes. Watch his eyes.
defense, can you stop him from sevens every once in a while?
Yeah, that's.
Look, you see how he's looking? Oh, my goodness, dude. It's just poetry, man. You see he's looking to his left. He's getting everybody in position. Hey, this is the formation. We're going to roll in. No, you go this way. You go to, and he's just an orchestrator, right? He's the offensive coordinator. Yeah. So he's looking to the left, right?
That's what everybody says, but it's hard to do. You got to mix up your
You see that?
coverages. You have to have
He's looking over there, bro.
somebody deliver.
He's looking over here. He's got a photogenic memory, man. The defensive coordinator that he was up against, he probably knows exactly what he ran 7 years ago when we were down here in this down and distance underneath the 20. Like, that's just how he was, man. He probably knows, hey, you know, high probability of a slot blitz coming from here, especially with Charles Woodson. So listen to him. He's going to ID 94 as the mic. And then when Woodson comes down and overtakes his position, he's going to say, no. 24 is the mic. Right? Because he knows the blitz is going to come, and they're going to slide. You'll see. Let's watch it.
Deliver a pass rush, and here Peyton's in a no-back set. This is where he threw the touchdown to Welker.
Now he's going to change his mind. 94 was here. Once 94 came up and Woodson came down. Oh, wait, no, never mind. 24 is the mic.
The last time.
Let's watch it again.
In a no-back set. This is where he threw the touchdown to Welker. The last time.
So he knows you're coming, bro. And they're going to slide. He's going to pick him up. He's going to pick him up. And now we get the slide picking him up. So he's surefire on this side of the field. And because of this, he knows that it's man-to-man here, and he knows you're man-to-man on this guy. And you're going to hear him say Carolina. Carolina. That's probably the route. You know, it's a name tag to the route adjustment he's going to have. He's going to go to the flat. This guy's going to run a slant, which is excellent against single high. And also, you know, slant is really taught to kind of get in the way of this guy so you can free up the flat, and this will be a touchdown. Sorry about that notification.
And on 3rd and 4, the two-side route is worked to the end zone with Julius Thomas for the touchdown.
And Charles Woodson's just shaking his head. Manning saw that slot blitz by Charles Woodson all the way. Woodson comes off the weak side. Thomas is the hot receiver. He wins in one-on-one situation against Burnett. It's as good as it gets. Recognizing the coverage is one thing, but recognizing the blitz packages is another. And every week I see the best coaches in football try to fool them. No one can do it.
Okay, so he's threatening to come weak side, right? We originally had this guy as the mic. Well, let's change it. Let's make this guy the mic. 54 is the mic. Oh, no. You know, 56 is the mic. Well, guess what? You know, again, since everyone knows that this is the mic, now this is the will. Remember, the next defender over second level is now the will. So now we're sliding to him. So we count how many. Well, look, we got 4 here, so we're going to need 4 in the slide. So first uncovered lineman, maybe something like this. Now, I could be wrong here, but I'm just giving just a little example of how ID and the mic can change everything, right? So now, these 4 are all picked up in the pass protection. That would leave man-to-man here. So now the weak side blitz is taken care of. And then now, you know, obviously 6-man protection, he's going to have to deal with the defensive end. Now, what would be the disadvantage of this? Well, I can name a lot of disadvantages here, right? For one, so maybe I'm wrong, you know, who knows? I'm just giving you an example. You know, I'm pretty sure teams do it a lot differently here. But just the point of ID in the mic changes the pass protection. Well, the problem with this is now instead of like a left tackle or a left guard or a center picking up a big, because traditionally you want big on big. Now you got like a left tackle or a left guard picking up like a defensive back. And yeah, that defensive back will get crushed. He won't be able to get in. But now you have a running back blocking a defensive end, right? Would you want your running back like blocking fucking Aaron Donald? Like what? You know what I mean? You can see the potential problem here. Right? So that's one problem. So maybe a team, this is what strategy is all about. A team is going to study your offensive line protection package. They're going to see when you run, hey, look, when this team ran 4 weak, they slid 4 to pick up this side. They got the right tackle blocking, you know, the 3 technique on the strong side. So, you know, typically they will have the back try to get on the defensive end. So why don't we threaten 4 weak this week so we can get, you know, a matchup where our defensive end is on the back. It's all types of strategies involved with it, right? So, you know, you may think, well, okay, I don't like that solution, so what can you do to alleviate that issue, right? Well, one thing you can do is sight adjustments. So you have hots is one thing, but sight adjustments is different from hots. So what's a sight adjustment? So let's draw the routes here. Let's say you're running a flat, deep out. Let's say you're running just a clear out route to kind of flood the side over here. And we're going to make this guy the hot, built in, based upon what we showed earlier, right? If both of these guys come, the ball's got to come out on this hot route here, okay? Because our answer for a free rusher from this side is to throw hot. But what's our answer for 4 weak? We don't want to change the mic to this side, and then we have all those issues that I was speaking of earlier, right? Well, we have a sight adjustment. So let's say his route, he's the alert on the play. An alert would be, hey, you know, the play is designed to look strong side, but if we get the perfect look, then we got an alert check. We want the quarterback to really look over here. Maybe you got a matchup that you like over here. You got to get the perfect look to throw this, right? But we have a sight adjustment built in to deal with 4 weak. So a sight adjustment would be, hey, you know, wide receiver, if we ever get 4 weak, remember what I said. You don't need a blocker for every potential rusher. You just need an answer. Our answer for the free potential rusher on this side is for a sight adjustment. Your route is to do, you know, this little clear out route or fade or whatever. But if we get 4 weak, you're going to sight adjust into a slant, right? So, you know, let's say all of these guys come. Quarterback should know, hey, I have a sight adjustment on this side. If I get 4 weak, snap the ball's going to be gone before this guy comes, because we know in the route you're supposed to run this, but on the same page, you're supposed to change this into a slant. And I was watching like an old Bears game where Jay Cutler, he snapped the ball and he threw it really quickly, and it looked like it was probably a sight adjustment, because that's one of the problems with sight adjustments. If you don't have savvy receivers, you're putting a bigger responsibility on this receiver, because it's not like, hey, you're looking at the wide receiver, you're looking at the deep safety, you're trying to figure out how you're going to come off the line of scrimmage with your route. Well, you also got to pay attention to 4 weak. You got to pay attention to a lot more than just, you know, how you're going to beat your defensive back. You got to know if this guy's coming, and you got to know if you got to change off in a side adjust. If you don't, well, now this guy's coming free and he's going to hit your quarterback. Or your quarterback may snap the ball and throw that slant, expecting you to cut off into the slant, but you're going up the field, and now the ball goes right into a defender's hands, right? And I remember watching the play. Hope maybe I'll cut in and put it in. I doubt it, because that would be hard to find. He threw the ball, and Olsen wasn't even looking. The tight end, he was still like running up the field, and then they showed a cut of Jay Cutler walking off the field, and he was pissed, like he was shaking his head with his head down. And you saw a blitz coming from that side. It seemed like it was a sight adjustment, right? But when everything works in unison, it looks great, you know, when you throw a sight adjustment 4 weak. So what's my issue here? Well, my issue is sight adjustments are not in the game, right? It's not in the game of Madden. It's not. Throwing hot, the functionality of it really, I would say, is not really in the game. I mean, you can make your own hots, know where you're going to go. But the game doesn't really have a dual read built-in system, I think. They have the check release in the game. You see that purple C over a particular player. What that means is the back is going to check to see if this guy comes. If he comes, he'll take him. If he doesn't come, then he'll go out into his route, right? But that's not a dual read. That's like a single read, right? He's not checking to see if he comes and then checking to see if he comes if he doesn't come, right? That's not in the game. All right? This game is dog shit, right? So side adjustments is an answer to a particular question. The question is, what do we do against 4 weak? Well, we can change the mic over so we can slide to the will on that side, but that can create potential problems based upon the front, right? Well, we have another answer to that question. That answer is side adjustments. We can build in a side adjustment into our playbook, but now we're asking the, wide receiver to understand what he's supposed to do and etc., right? But the answer of side adjustment is not in the game, and the reason why it's not in the game is because the game does the pass protection for you. You ever wonder why the blitzes in this game, the predetermined blitzes, don't work? Like, you go through the playbook, no matter what blitz you pick, no one ever comes free. The goal of a blitz is to get someone to come free. We're not trying to, you're not trying to play cover zero all the time. Cover zero is where you're bringing more rushers than what the offense can block. The disadvantage of that is now you're one-on-one across the board through the field, and the middle of the field is wide open, right? There's a lot of problems with cover zero, and there's a lot of ways to attack it. So you really don't want to leave your back end that vulnerable. Cover zero is something you may call sparingly. You really don't want to call cover zero too much. But you still want to get pressure on the quarterback, so you may bring 5. That's the whole point of the different, stunt packages they may bring in. You're trying to confuse the offensive line protection through studying and getting someone to come scot-free, right, at the quarterback. That's the point. But because the game, they will check into the perfect protection for you every time. That's why when you pick blitzing plays, no one comes free, right? All you have to do in Madden, if they're bringing 6, just make the back block, and every single one of them will get picked up, because the game checks into the perfect protection for you. So when you change the mic, you might mess it up, right? That's why I say don't change the mic. So what's the problem with the game checking into the perfect protection for you? I can give you a lot of reasons. If you don't see it right away, and I don't know, but it just takes the whole strategic realm away from the game. It makes blitzing with these different zone blitzes, it makes it almost useless. You have to do a whole bunch of different adjustments to it to try to make it work, and you really shouldn't have to. What they should do is make it to where the pass protection is regular pass protection, and you put it on the user to get it right. You have to understand what pass protection you want to call and slide to and etc. And if you don't, then the strategy of the defending user, he gets rewarded for finding the right blitz or attacking the right protection in the right way, threatening 4 weak and then backing out because you slid your line that way, and now this guy's one-on-one and you get an actual overload on this side. Think about all the strategic realm that they just strip from you because they treat everybody like everyone's a moron, and they just do the pass protecting for you. It's because they're lazy. It's really what it is. They don't see the reward in getting it right, the amount of effort that they would put forth in the coding to get it right. They don't see a proportionate value in them getting paid for that. If we're still going to get millions or billions of dollars, if we don't invest a lot of time in getting it right, then why do it at all, right? These guys are I'm not going to go into any more derogatory terms. I really don't like these guys, right? So another reason why, remember in previous Maddens, they would have what they call nano blitzes. You ever wonder why those are just non-existent now, right? So I remember in previous Maddens, you would maybe check into the underfront. I'm not going to peel away. I just, let's say maybe this defensive, he's like here in the 3 technique. This guy's here. And you have the 1 technique here. So let me just act like he's not here. Right? What I would do in previous Maddens, I would just blitz this guy. Right? And the problem would be, because the game was in just a regular type protection, the center would be forced to deal with this 1 technique. And then you would get a 3-on-2 deal here. And you would get someone coming scot-free in the B gap. That was like just a basic, what they would call a nano blitz. And I had no problem with nano blitzes at all. I had no problem with it at all. None whatsoever. What I had a problem with is the game not having an adequate answer for the question. The question is, what do we do against these nano blitzes? These developers, instead of them doing it the right way, the question is, what do you do with nano blitzes? You should go to an NFL team, talk to an offensive line coach, and ask them, hey, when an NFL team would come with this type of look and bring someone, what would you do in this situation? What would you tell your offensive line to do? And they would tell, oh, yeah, hey, we would do a specific line protection slide or whatever. Then you would learn that and go implement that into your game. So you would make your base more knowledgeable in the game. You would make the game more immersive in actual strategic stuff from the game of football. You would make it far more interesting. Right? You would reward higher skill players. You would now make it where, hey, maybe I can, again, fake blitz here, have you slide this way. It's a cat and mouse thing. And then you are actually bringing an overload on this side. You would make the game more fun. But instead of them doing that, what they did was, hey, because these nano blitzes are messing up the game, let's just make it to where the offensive line does everything for you. And that's the problem. So instead of you actually going to the doctor and fixing the wound that you have in your leg, you're bleeding to death, you just stick a bandaid over it. And you think that fixes the problem, and actually don't. It doesn't. You're still going to die, right? You got to actually get it fixed, because now it's causing multiple problems later on down the line. And those problems are now your different blitz packages in the game doesn't work because the offensive line does everything for you. Right? So, I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure some of you guys have like checked other videos where you have guys, hey, I found a blitz that works. I've watched some of those videos, and I watched the video, and they're like, the play is like a 3-3 blitz, right? And maybe it's bringing this guy, bringing this guy, it's bringing this guy, it's bringing this guy, and it's bringing this guy, and then this guy is like this, right? And if they leave the play like this, it doesn't work because the whole line will slide to pick up all of these guys, right? This tackle will magically know. He won't even look at this guy. He'll just immediately spin left like he knew, because that's what the game is. It's coded in a way to which he's like, these guys are psychic. They know what the defense is going to do. So he'll just slide this way and they'll pick up these 5. So what these guys do in these videos are like, all you have to do is bring him up and blitz him too. It's like, dude, you're not really fixing the problems with blitzing, because now you're playing like cover 0 now. You're just bringing more than what the offense is blocking. That's your solution to finding this quote-unquote great blitz in the game, right? It's like, dude, it's like they don't even see the problem themselves when they're making these videos. Go watch some of these videos where they're like, hey, I found the perfect blitz. Either they're manipulating the AI because the AI is fucked. Maybe the tackle, they do some contained type blitz and it messes up the coding of the tackle. That's one way they do it. Or they do something where they just bring more than what the offense is blocking. It's like, dude, that's not a solution, because what you're doing is you're making the back end of the coverage so much more vulnerable. All the user has to do is just run like a progression read offense, where they just get rid of it hot. It's all they got to do, right? So enough of my rambling. I just thought that was a very interesting question. And hopefully I cut in, you would know by now if I cut in the Peyton Manning video. There was another video. Oh yeah, the video of ID in the mic. So